Hola amigos, bienvenidos otra vez a mi canal Liniberg de Lara Fabian. En esta ocasión les voy a presentar una entrevista que le hice hace 2 semanas a un fan de Toronto, Canadá, que se llama Victor Gorys. Victor Gorys es muy conocido en grupos como Lara Fabian y Lara Fabian América de Facebook, donde comparte él videos de conciertos de Lara y comenta mucho sobre lo emotivo que resulta ser fan de Lara por la cantidad de emociones que transmite ella a su público y la conexión tan fuerte que hay entre Lara y su público. La entrevista está subtitulada al español. Realmente me da mucha ilusión presentarla. En algunas partes el audio no es muy claro, pero realmente son cosas muy pequeñas. Y bueno, pues van a ver la cantidad de cosas tan bonitas que dice Víctor de Lara y de sus fans. Y también pues invito a todos aquellos que quieran contribuir a mi canal y hablar sobre Lara, sobre lo que piensan de ella, sobre qué piensan sobre sus discos, sobre ella como persona, lo maravillosa que es. Entonces, si no quieren aparecer en video, pues bueno, puede ser por audio. Quizá no en video si quieren en la modalidad como lo hice con Víctor, que fue por Zoom. Si no lo quieren así, pues puede ser que yo les mande el video con las preguntas y ustedes luego me manden sus videos con las respuestas y yo lo único que hago al final es pegar sus videos y el mío para presentarle al canal. O si no, bueno, aunque sea puro audio. La cuestión es participar, es realmente el objetivo de mi canal, porque yo estoy maravillada con los fans de Lara, somos muy, pues únicos realmente. Entonces, pues qué mejor que expresarle a Lara en un dado momento si llega ella a ver mi canal, ¿verdad? Escucharlos a ustedes y también, bueno, decirles que hay gente que se está haciendo pasar por Lara en Instagram, ya van 2 veces que me pasa, que se hacen pasar por ella y me mandan mensajes diciéndome, si eres mi fan, mándame un corazón. Me escriben en francés. Yo realmente muy poquito el francés, estoy aprendiendo para poder comunicarme con toda su audiencia en lo que es en Francia y Bélgica, ¿verdad? Porque es donde más se concentran la cantidad de fans de Lara. Y luego me dice, escríbemelo en francés. Y yo, pues no sé francés, o sea, realmente es muy poco, ¿no? Yo le mando en inglés mis respuestas y luego me dice que también habla español, se les mando en español y no le entiende. Bueno, es un relajo, ¿no? A mí la verdad me da risa y en un dado momento la primera persona que se hizo pasar por Lara me estuvo pidiendo dinero que porque como los conciertos de Lara se habían cancelado debido a la pandemia, pues ella tenía que pagarle a su equipo. Bueno, un relajo y la verdad a mí al final me da risa, pero les comento a todos los fans para que tengan cuidado de que hay mucho gandaya por ahí que se está haciendo pasar por ella para pedir dinero. Bueno, no los entretengo más y espero que les guste y por favor anímense a darme la entrevista. Es bien padre esta experiencia, se los juro. Hasta luego, muchas gracias. Hola amigos de El Universo de Lara. Vamos a empezar con una entrevista a Víctor. Es el que ustedes pueden ver en pantalla. Hello, Víctor.
Hello.
Nos va a contestar unas preguntas que le voy a hacer. Las voy a hacer primero en español y después la voy a decir en inglés para que Víctor nos pueda entender. La primera pregunta es, dinos a qué te dedicas y dónde vives. And where do you live? What do you do?
Well, I'm newly retired. I was in financial services, but newly retired, and I live in Toronto, Canada.
Oh,
That's a 6.5 hour drive from Laura's house in Montreal.
okay. Okay, I'm going to say the second question.
Okay.
La segunda pregunta, dinos acerca de la primera vez que escuchaste a Lara y cuál fue tu reacción. Tell us about the first time you listened to Lara and what was your reaction?
First, this is kind of a two-part question in a way, because I first heard Laura back in 2000. And in 2000, one of the things I did outside of my regular job was I shot wedding videos. So I went to a lot of weddings, and one of the biggest songs, I Will Love Again, it was so popular. And they played it at absolutely every wedding. But then things didn't progress after that. You never really heard anything about Laura and her music after that. It kind of died away. And it wasn't really until 2 years ago that I was listening to my music again, and I said, yeah, you know what, I want to see if there's anything else that she did. And so 2 years ago, I started to listen to her other music and to look at her videos. And that's when, I guess if you've heard of the term love at first sight. Well, it was love at first note. As soon as I started to hear her sing in French and Italian and Spanish, I just completely fell in love with her again and kind of went a little bit on the crazy side.
Ok. Voy con la tercera pregunta. ¿Cuál es tu álbum favorito y canción? What's your favorite album and song?
Okay. This is the hardest question in the world because that's like going to me and saying, which of your 3 children do you love the most?
Oh,
and it's not a fair question, but I'll try to answer. And for my favorite album, yes, it does have to be her 4th album, Lara Fabian, the English album, because it was something I'm very comfortable with. And so many of her hit songs, the ones you always see on YouTube, come from that album. But if I put it together with the next album, New, I love that album as well. So the two of them are kind of tied together.
Yes.
I love them both equally. My favorite song, once again, extremely difficult. I love Bambina.
Oh.
It's such a sweet song. It touches my heart. I love that song so much. But once again, I have to add one little comment, and that is, if you like, I prefer her live performances to her studio albums, her studio production. The live performances, she puts out so much more. And my favorite performance that way is Pas en Toi from 2012, and I think it was April of 2012. The emotion between her and her audience was so incredible. It made you feel like you were right there with them. When our audience was crying or singing, you were crying and singing along with her. It gave you so much emotion. So that's my favorite performance.
Ok, nice. La cuarta pregunta. ¿Qué hace a Lara sea diferente a otras cantantes? What does it make Lara be different to other singers, female singers?
Her authenticity. She's authentic. She's not fake. She's not singing to an audience. She is using her own, like so many of her songs, even the ones that she didn't write herself, like Je suis malade. She has personal experience with everything she sings about. And she takes that personal experience and the way she projects it, it's like a cloud that flows over you. And then it becomes your experience, not just hers. You're feeling the pain, you're feeling the love, you're feeling the betrayal, you're feeling the joy, just the way she does. And I don't think there's any other singer out there. And I know who she's been compared to, another Quebec lady, a bunch of other stars. I understand all that, but while they're all wonderful, they're all incredible, they're all superior, when it comes to drawing in her people, the people who are listening to her, nobody can do it better than she can. And it goes beyond all of that. When you see how she was singing, or what she does because of COVID, when the song Remember Me, that she did for that particular medical issue, it shows her sincerity, how much she really cares. There are so many singers out there who can sing beautiful songs, but in real life, they're not really nice people, or at least
That's
not
correct.
all the time. Laura is sincere. She's a mother. She's gone through so many things in her life, tragedies, good things and bad, but she is so calm and serene and wonderful you can't help but love her because you realize this is the kind of person that you want to be with, that you want to spend time with, either watching musically or, if you were ever to be fortunate enough to meet her in real life.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, next. La próxima pregunta. ¿Consideras que Lara ha sido lo debidamente reconocida y valorada como otras cantantes? Si tu respuesta es no, ¿cuál sería la razón? Do you think Lara has been duly recognized and valued like other singers? If your answer is not, what could be the reason?
The answer is definitely not. There's a very famous phrase out there actually about Laura, and that is, she is the greatest singer the world has never seen.
Yes.
She does not get that recognition. She does not get that exposure. One of the things that brought me back to Laura when I started to watch her again was what they call reaction videos. You have people who are music coaches, music teachers, and things like that. And they would watch a video on YouTube and they would talk about what they liked about it, what they didn't like about it. And this one music coach, one music teacher said, this was at the end of listening to Adagio, she goes, "Why have I never heard of this person before?"
Yes, that's correct.
And you're a music coach, you're a music teacher. How is it that you didn't know about Laura? Well, because Laura never had the publicity machine that the other stars.
Mm-hmm.
The other stars, they basically had a gigantic machine doing all of their publicity, getting on the television shows, things like that. Celine Dion, people like that. Laura never had that kind of organization behind her. But the other thing too about Laura is that she is a very sincere person. She's very dedicated to her craft, to her music. And so she will perform, she will write, she will do albums, she will perform songs that mean something to her. And she will experiment. She'll do different things.
Yes.
Other singers will just keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again. You listen to one album, the next one's the same, the next one's the same, the next one's the same. Nothing has changed. Yeah. But with Laura, and this is one of the reasons why she wasn't as well known, didn't have success, is that she kept on changing back and forth between different things, and there was no what we call continuity. So she comes out with the album Lara Fabian, the English album, and everybody loved it.
Yes.
Wonderful. What does she do? She goes and does new French album. The people who love the English album, love the dancing music and all that, all of a sudden, what happened to the dance music? She doesn't do that anymore. I'm not interested. Besides, she's not interested in French. And the French people, they love new. People who spoke French. But what happened after new? She came out with another English album. Only that one was cover music. Basically doing the music of other artists.
Mm-hmm.
Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell and songs like that. And that's difficult. A lot of people, the French people said, "Hey, she's not doing French anymore. I'm not interested in Laura anymore." And the people in English kind of, why are you doing cover music? Why aren't you doing the dance stuff that heard 2 albums ago? And then what happens after that? Then she went back to French again.
Yes.
And she went back. So going back and forth made it difficult for people to develop, continuity. People aren't used to going back and forth. Mm-hmm. The fans that, like yourself, like myself, it doesn't bother us at all. We appreciate her going from one type of music to another, one style, one language, whatever happens to be. We appreciate it anyway.
Yes. What about in Canada? The English part. Lara is famous. She is successful for example,
not that successful. She definitely has a following. There are crazy people out there like me that absolutely adore her, obviously. And there are people who love her and want to see more of her and want to hear more of her. But when she came to Canada, she went to Montreal, and that's where she developed her career. If anybody wants to be happy about any particular city in any country, all of you Lara fans, be thankful for Montreal, Canada, because that's where she developed her craft. She learned how to sing, she learned how to develop her technique, and that's where she blossomed. So there's a much, much greater appreciation in French-speaking Canada, the province of Quebec, than there is in English Canada, because once again, in French Canada, half of her music is French, but in English Canada, only a smaller portion is actually English. And she doesn't, as I said, she doesn't get the publicity in the rest of Canada that she does in Quebec.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, next question, la próxima pregunta. ¿Estás de acuerdo en que a Lara se le considere para recibir un Grammy por trayectoria artística en este momento y por qué? Do you agree Lara could be considered to get the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award at this moment, and why?
Okay, there is absolutely no question that Lara is premier singer in the world. Like not the best, because it's not fair to say anybody is the best. But her 30-year career, her singing in different languages, her albums in different languages, her having in that 1 year the biggest selling album in the world, where she sold 6 million albums, that sort of thing. There is no question she deserves it. The question then becomes, would the Grammys ever put her forward as, a lifetime achievement? I don't think they would. And the reason I don't think they would is because Grammys are American-based. So to our American fellow Lara lovers, but the Americans tend to be very insulated. They tend to listen to only things that are American and only promote things that are American. Sure, they will end up giving Celine Dion at some point a Lifetime Achievement Award, or Julio Iglesias, that sort of thing. But then those are the people who, once again, have that big publicity machine to support that kind. Lara has a dedicated group of fans around the world, but not to that extent, not to that degree, and not quite that exposure in the United States as well. So while I don't consider it fair, I don't think that's going to really end up happening. What there should be in this world is a World Music Achievement Award, not the Grammys, but something for the world itself, where people, the top people in India are out there, and the top people in Taiwan are out there, and the top people in Italy or in France or whatever, and then do a recognition of that if they could. There you would have a more fair judgment about her value to music.
Okay. Next question. La próxima pregunta sería, si tuvieras la oportunidad de preguntarle o decirle algo a Lara, ¿qué sería? If you had the chance to ask or say something to Lara, what it would be?
Okay. One question, and then first one is a request. Lara, please come back to Toronto. You haven't been here since 2015, and there's really no concert footage of what you did when you were in 2015, very little. So I have to go all the way to Quebec City to watch you in December, so I wouldn't mind if you would come over here to me instead. But if I was to ask her any question about her life, her music, things like that, my question would be, how do you turn on the emotion when you sing? Because like, as I said, when she sings, she draws you into her song. It's no longer Lara singing the song. It's you singing the song. It's you feeling the song. Her emotion becomes your emotion. How does she turn that on and then turn it off again and And the next song is or different, completely different. And then later on, boom, on comes something very emotional and sweet. And then later on, a different type of song. How does an artist like yourself have people have the ability to switch it on, off? That's the question that
that's amazing. Yeah, it's something amazing about her. How does she manage that kind of emotions to be really happy and then really sad, crying, and then dancing again and singing like nothing happens?
Well, if you saw, if you recall her singing, I think it's Je suis malade from the With Laura with Love concert and that particular video. At the end of it, she's like this. And she's like that for about 15, 20 seconds before she raises her head again. And any of the people who watched that video said, you could see what it took out of her emotionally. It drained her. It drained her physically.
Yes.
To sing that particular song with all the effort, all the emotion that she put into it. And that's the kind of performer that she is. But then to go through something like that, and then all of a sudden the next song you do is I Will Love Again. It's like, how do you do that? How do you switch from one to the other? It's amazing.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, Victor, something else you want to add?
I just want to say that a very great thing about Lara and what she's accomplished is she's accomplished an affection, a respect by people like yourself, and people who set up, Lara Fabian websites and things of that nature. Not just because, oh yeah, I love her music and oh she's so sweet. Not just like that, but actually appreciate what the music does for you and how it brings all of us together.
That's correct.
I was going through issues, in my life and that sort of thing. And when I basically started listening to Lara Fabian and started to participate and communicate with you, and I have a very good friend now out there in Belgium as well. And we keep on saying that, one of us has to come to the other's country to watch a Lara Fabian concert. We become a community of people who have the same thoughts. We're all different. I love all kinds of music.
Yes.
I love heavy metal music, that kind of thing. But there's the romantic side of me. There's the passionate side of me that Lara just brings out. But not just me, but other people as well. So when I had the opportunity to communicate more with you and with anybody else, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm able to share, and being able to share is the most important thing, right? It's not what you get out of Lara's music and things like that. It's when you then take that, you send it out, and you let others share it as well. When Lara came out with Remember Me, I knew some people who had that particular medical issue. And I sent a video out to them and said, maybe this will give you some comfort. Maybe this will be. So I love to share.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Victor.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.